morning, boys and girls. It is Sunday, April 21st, 2024, and we are on day 7 of our life cycle of a chicken unit, which means that we have 14 days left. We are 1/3 of the way through because a chicken's life cycle lasts for 3 weeks, so we have gone through 1 week of its development. We're going to take a look and review those pictures. That was day 1, day 2, day 3, 4, 5, 6, and today is day 7. And look at what is happening on today. Today, the legs and wings begin to form. You can see quite a bit of growth from yesterday, can't you? You can see the legs beginning to be there and the wings beginning to be there. You can also see his beak forming with the egg tooth we talked about yesterday. And the vocabulary word for today is air sac, which is the space at the end of the egg. I've put you this diagram in here today. I turned it sideways so that it sort of looks exactly like our eggs in the incubator. We put our eggs in the incubator with the blunt side down. We do that for a couple of reasons. One is to make sure that the embryo doesn't stick to one side or the other. So we want them right here stationary, right in the middle with the blunt side down. Air rises to the top, right? So air is lighter than all the rest of this that's in here in the egg with him. So air is going to rise to the top. So our air sac forms up here at the top at the wide end of the egg. As the embryo grows, the air sac grows. And so the embryo eventually will come up to about half, maybe a little bit more than half of that egg. The air sac will sit up here at the other half of the egg. And the air sac serves a very important purpose. Inside this membrane right here where the embryo is growing and developing, there is no oxygen in here. It's living in liquid just like you did inside your mom's stomach. And then when you came out, you breathed your first breath of oxygen. For a chicken, that first breath of oxygen is included in the shell. So everything that the chicken needs to survive is included in the shell. That's the way that it was created. Isn't that cool? And so as the egg tooth begins to form on the beak and the embryo gets bigger, he will start pipping and zipping, right? And the first thing he's going to crack through is this membrane, not the shell. He's going to bust this bubble of liquid right here, and he's going to need something to breathe. And that's where this air sac comes into play. So the air sac is the space at the end of the egg, and the air inside the sac is the first air that a chick will breathe before hatching out of the shell. So it actually takes a long process. It is a very exhausting, long process for a chicken to hatch. So he starts it, and he may not get out of this egg. He may not unzip this egg and get totally out for 24 hours. So while he's in here, he needs something to breathe, and that air sac up here at the top is what allows him to have oxygen to breathe. So we'll look really quickly at all these other parts of the egg, and then what I want to do for the rest of the time today, and this is our vocabulary word, air sac. We know what it means. What I want to do today is take the top off of our incubator. Look at all 24 eggs. So here's what I think I'm going to do that is I'm just going to take the lid off and set it over here on the side. I'm going to be really careful because I'm holding the camera with one hand. Now you don't want to leave the eggs open because the temperature drops drastically, right, when you do that. But what I want to do, since we have 24 of them to check, is I'm going to turn our flashlight on. I'm going to turn this lamp off. I'm going to turn the light off in the room. There we go. And we are going to take each one of these eggs and put it on top of that flashlight and look for growth. And so some of the things we're looking for is the embryo in there. We're looking for the air sac at the end. We are looking to see that there's growth happening. If we don't see anything inside the egg, or what we see is sort of this circle right here, the yellow yolk just sort of bouncing around, but we don't see this black area right there where the embryo is. If we did not see that, then we would put this one in the back of the incubator for another day or so and then get rid of it. But this is a good egg. Can you see what we're looking for? We're looking for the embryo. We see that. We're looking for the air sac down here at the bottom. See that line right there where the air is at the bottom? We're looking for veining. We can see movement today. The embryo is moving around. This one is definitely fertilized. Remember, we're going to put them blunt side down into our incubator. Some of the rows are laid side by side by side by side. That's because we're trying to fit more in one row than another. But they're either blunt side down or they're laying blunt side to wide end, side by side like that horizontally. So this one that first one was fertilized. Let's look at this one. We have an embryo. That makes 2 that is fertilized. Let's look at the third one. This was the one with the feather on it. Can you see the feather? Let's see if I can get it where you can see it. Look right there. Ah! Still got the feather on it from Miss Mom. Okay, we're looking for the embryo. We're looking for an air sac. We're looking for veining. Do you see that? There it is. There he is right there. See that black little dot? All right, so we have one in here. I'm going to continue to watch all of these. Sometimes you have an embryo that starts to develop and then for whatever reason stops developing. And what you'll see with those, there's our little embryo. What you'll see with those is you'll see almost a red, they call it a red ring. And it's where all of those blood vessels inside sort of come together and they create this red ring that goes around the egg right there, and the embryo stops growing. So that's what we don't want to see. This one definitely has the air sac at the end. See it? A beautiful air sac. It has the embryo right there. He's moving all around, very healthy. So far we have checked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eggs, and they all are fertilized in the front row. Now, I've been doing these for the last couple of days, and so we'll continue to do it. Remember how I told you we don't want to leave one in there that is not fertilized? And because I have done that before, and they will explode, and that is not fun, and it doesn't smell good. There's our cute little embryo right there looking at us. It's a big one. So far we have 6 embryos that are developing. There's another one. See him? That makes 7. We've got a good turnout this year. Sometimes out of 24, you only maybe have 8 or 10 that are fertilized. I've been watching these, and it's looking like almost every single one has a growing embryo inside. I've never had that happen before. I have never gotten 24 eggs and had 24 embryos. So we got really lucky this year, didn't we? All right, let's continue to look. Let's look for the embryo. You know what you're looking for now. You're looking for this dark side that has grown. See, if it did not have, if it wasn't fertilized, you would just see the plain yellow yolk bouncing around in there, right? I'm hoping you guys can see as well as I can on the camera with the lights out, but there's lots of red veining here. There's a beautiful air sac down at the bottom. Do you see that? Let me try to turn it where you can see it a little bit better. This one's kind of tricky. He's already gotten all black inside there. But if you look really carefully down at the bottom, see right there, you can see the beautiful air sac in the embryo. So that's another one that's growing. So that gives us 10. And now we're on the third row. Oh yeah. See how the darkness has kind of taken over the light area? I see the little embryo right there. Okay, that's 11. Let's keep going. Beautiful air sac on the end. We just want to check for all the things. We want to see the embryo, veining, air sac, growth, right? And what we don't want to see is a red ring around the egg, because that means that the embryo, for whatever reason, has stopped growing. See that beautiful air sac down there at the bottom? Let's get it this way. We lost our light. Okay, look. See, we can see it growing. See it dark on one side. I see a beautiful air sac on the other side. Also, sometimes another thing that you see with the eggs is light places in the egg. It looks almost like it's been cracked. I'll show you when we turn the light off here. Looking for the embryo. There it is in the veining. We have 14 fertilized eggs. This will be number 15. Let's look at him. Okay, there he is down there at the bottom. That's 15. And there he is, and that's 16. 16 little eggs. If we have never hatched, I think the most I've hatched is either 11 or 12. We've never hatched 16 or 17 or 20 or 24 eggs. So, oh my word, if we have all of them that are fertilized and they all hatch, we're going to have 24 baby chicks running around Franklin Forest. Can you imagine? And they're going to all think I'm their mom. And we can put them all out on the carpet and they'll start following me all around. All right, this one I'm a little concerned about. Let me show you what I'm talking about right here. Do you see that line? See that dark red line right there? That kind of looks like a blood ring to me. And I'm not seeing the embryo in here. So I'm going to put him back here in the very back. We're going to keep an eye on him tomorrow, Monday and Tuesday of this week, and see if it's still growing in there. But if not, that may mean that we only have 23. There's one that is for sure. Okay, let's look at this one. And remember, we want to get the top back on this incubator as quickly as possible. So we're going to do these last couple ones a little bit faster. There we go. That one's got one. And let's check this one. All right, do you see things that are missing from this? Do you see how it does not look black and dark all the way around? We've got this one little area right here. And then when you keep turning, there's nothing, 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 nothing. Do you see that? I believe this one is an unfertilized egg with just the yellow yolk in here that bounces back and forth and back and forth. So I believe this one is not fertilized. We're going to put it over here with the other one that we think may not be. And then here's our last one to take a look at. Yep, there he is, little embryo. It's dark, dark, dark. Good. Beautiful air sac up here at the top. See that line with the oxygen up here at the top that has everything that he needs to survive? And then there he is right there. Okay, before I put the top on, I'm going to turn the light back on and show you what I'm talking about as far as the dots on the end of the egg. Sometimes you have little scratches, like look at this one, see? See those little white scratches right there on the egg? Or you have little white dots right there on the egg, which just means that it's a little fragile right there. The egg may have gotten a little cracked. It might be a little, see those little scratches right there? Might be a little cracked. And we just want to watch that. We don't want our eggs to explode, right? So we're going to watch that really carefully. Sometimes those little white dots, those little white scratches will cause the egg not to develop properly. But you can see it on the inside. So our job is to get out all the ones that are not fertilized, right, by Tuesday or Wednesday of this week. And then keep all the other ones that are fertilized in here. So right now we have 24 eggs. 2 of them we think are not fertilized. So how many does that leave us with our fertilized eggs? We have 22 fertilized eggs. Today is day 7. We have 14 days left. How exciting!